Perfect. Alrighty. Welcome everyone to good evening and welcome to Unfiltered with Brie. Tonight, my special guest boasts of impressive 40 years of expertise in pageantry. She is a CEO and founder of Chronic Moment Productions, LLC, and director of USA World United and Mother-Daughter USA, a pageant system that shines a spotlight and celebrates women of purpose. Miss Libby Crawford.
Hi, Brie.
Hi. Thank you so much for being here.
You betcha.
It's great.
Good to see you. Good to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, what an icon to have on air. I mean, you started 40 years ago in pageantry. How did you even start getting into pageantry? What sparked this light?
You know, it's funny. Back in the day, my day, in the 70s and 80s, well, mostly in the 70s, they would do this thing called mannequin modeling at this store called Montgomery Ward's. And that's really where I got my start. It was a modeling school, so to speak, but it was done within the store. And we would do things like tea room modeling. I don't even know if that's out there anymore, but we would put on the clothes at Montgomery Ward's and we'd go through their cafe and we would walk up to each table and say, today I'm modeling this, if you can find it in this department, you know, and you'd spin around and you go from table to table. And then I got very good at mannequin modeling, and the robot was a big deal back then. So I would stand on a pillar in the store or platform in an attire from the store, tags hanging and everything. And I would, like a mannequin. Once in a while I'd move to freak people out, but we had to do that for hours. And that was part of our training.
Oh my gosh.
And once a year they would have a contest and they would pick their Wendy Ward models for the year, and I won that competition. There were 12 of us that won, and one of my best friends went on to New York to become a famous model. I mean, she's still a model and artist and sculptor today, but that's how I got my start and my interest. It was a lot of fun. I didn't compete in a real pageant until I was in high school. And that was when I competed first in the All-American system, which is no longer. And then I did Oregon USA in the 80s, late 80s. And when I got married, I started in the Mrs. Circuit. Did that for a while, and an opportunity came up to be a director. And I had been a coach, and I thought, wow, you know, I've been very successful at coaching. I had coached with Katie Harmon, and she went on to win Miss America. I coached with another young lady named Lauren Kuhn, who went on to be 4th runner-up at Miss America. And I thought, I'm pretty good at that, but I would really like to change people's lives every year and build kind of a family. So I took the directorship on for Oregon, did that for 10 years and retired. Thought I was done. And in 2011, decided to compete for the first time at 47 years old. And everyone that was with me was under 30. And here I was, 47, but I got first runner-up. And the company I'd worked for, it was Mrs. America and Mrs. World, asked me to come work for corporate. And so I worked for them for 6 years as the owner's executive assistant and traveled the world, South Korea, China. We went to South Africa. We went all over the place. And it was wonderful, wonderful experience. And I had decided that Mother Daughter USA was something that wasn't there. And I retired from them with their best wishes and started Mother Daughter USA. And that has my heart. I have two daughters. You're a daughter. I love your mom. And seeing that bond between mothers and daughters is amazing. And even for some that, like my first mother daughter, they loved each other and everything, but to have this experience together, to me, they told me it was life changing. And USA World United evolved from that. USA stands for United Service Ambassadors. And so it evolved from that so that I can share that experience with women, of all ages. And for me, you're my Teen World United winner, which I'm so blessed to have you. For me, it's very important with the 40 years of experience I've had. I've seen pageantry take that service component and add that to their pageants. Miss America's always been about service since they made the split with the Catalina Sportswear, but they've always had that service, and every other pageant has that service element, but I wanted to be 100% about the service. So both Mother Daughter USA and both USA World United are service-based organizations. So that means your interview is 100% based on what you do. What do you do in your community? Like you have days. Tell me about days. What do you do with your foundation? Some people have nonprofits. Some people give and put on fundraisers for nonprofits. Whatever you do in your community is such a value. And I didn't see through my 40 years that being the very number one focus. The focus was the body, so we didn't have the swimsuit. Focus was the exterior. A lot of the pageants, all the scores were wiped out, and they didn't bring that service element to the forefront, which is what we're trying to do. So I'm super excited that you and your mother and her friend Laura are interested, or not interested, but are my directors for the teen and junior teen program. I think you guys are going to be amazing. You're going to blow it out of the park. And I'm so excited for 2025 for your inaugural pageant. I mean, you have that gift of giving, that spirit of giving. And
thank you.
I can't wait till you guys change lives. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. And it's going to be something that it changes me every year for the better.
Honestly, your pageant has been the most comfortable one that I've actually been on. For people in the audience, I know I don't really speak much about myself, but I've been in multiple pageants. I've been in Miss USA for the Florida division. And for those who don't know anything about pageants, Miss USA actually goes into Miss Universe. So I was at the forefront at the beginning of that. And I was also in NIM, which is National Imperial Miss. And I have been in Miss World United. And Miss Libby is actually the one that looked at my foundation, what I stand for, instead of my body in a swimsuit.
Yep.
Or how I walk in my final gown. It was more based off of who I am to my community and how I help shape my community into leaders instead of followers.
Exactly. I think that's the most important thing that you said is I think with this whole, internet and selfies and all that kind of stuff, that we have lost that sense of being together live and helping one another. Okay.
Almost definitely.
It's almost like, here's a GoFundMe, send this money to this person. Why didn't you get out and make a dinner and go bring it to them?
Exactly.
Why don't you go to the beach on a beach cleanup day and do it as a family? It's fun, and have, a day of it. as a family. I mean, we've missed that element. We spend all our time watching other people live their lives on this box, and we're not out there living our lives and contributing, but we're watching other people do it. So my hope through this whole thing is to encourage that younger generation. And through you and your mother, I know that can happen. And Laura, I know that can happen. And I'm super excited. I'm super excited with your vision. I can't wait to meet your winners. I have kind of shifted my USA World United. Instead of a pageant, it's going to be an industry award. So what we're doing is we're taking the same regalia, which means sash and crown. We're taking the same regalia, and the winner gets the regalia, but it's an award, and it's a lifetime award. So usually in pageantry, you get to serve for 1 year and then you're done. I don't want everybody stopping at 1 year. I want them to continue. And so this award, you can send a nomination to me, anybody. She doesn't even have to be in pageants. But it's got to be somebody that has a service background. What are you doing in your community? Somebody that you see as a strong leader in service. And once we receive their nomination, we verify their service, and if they're so lucky, they get an invitation to be a finalist for our event in August, which I know you and your mom will be there, right?
Oh, most definitely. You don't even have to ask.
So
of course we'll be there.
So it's just ever evolving. You know, my dream is ever evolving. Every time I try to step back, God just kind of puts me back in this place. I think there's just more I need to do with this mission than just, a pageant. I don't feel like just having a pageant, I could do that. But that's not my heart. That's not where it's at for me. It's about recognizing women that serve. And I think that we all, especially women, are the biggest volunteers out there, are constantly, every time I go to an event, there's more women serving than there are men. No offense to the men. There are men that serve, but just women have this sense of giving and wanting to give and feeling that need. And so I think they need to be honored for that.
They truly do. And it's such a beautiful message that your pageant or award now holds.
Yes.
And Miss USA World United, how did that essentially come about? I know that you wanted to put a highlight on those women of purpose.
Yes.
But how did you find such beautiful women of purpose who always get overshadowed in this industry?
It's not hard to find women of purpose. I mean, you can see them on the internet, the ones that are out there, but it's the ones that aren't out there showing themselves. And the beauty of switching to an award is the women that have been nominated are coming from, I've got this friend, she's so beautiful. She doesn't want to be known for what she does, but she does so much. I'd like to nominate her. Or I had a husband write a beautiful letter about his wife and how she serves others and started her own foundation. And those stories it's exactly what we're looking for. And how it all came about was when I was working on Mother Daughter USA. I had been invited to a service club, and it was called Mrs. USA and Miss USA. And the service club was nominating their president, vice president, and I was nominated as vice president, which gave me the Ms. USA. And I always asked the director, I said, so what does USA stand for? And she really didn't have anything for it. And I said, how about United Service Ambassador? She's like, yeah, no. So when my service time was up, I started it. Okay. I said, it needs to stand for something. I'm not going to have a pageant that doesn't stand for something. And the reason why I don't put Mrs. or Ms. or anything in front of it, because I had a lot of friends that were widowed. And of no fault of their own, they were no longer a Mrs., so I wasn't going to have a Mrs. pageant. I had a lot of friends that were divorced or chose to be single, or a lot of those Miss USA contestants aged out at 28 years old, but still had a life of service and things they wanted out there. So that's where it came from. It was not to compete with the other pageants, but it was, again, to recognize that service piece. Because I will tell you, there were, over the years, working at the highest level, so many women with so many incredible stories of service that were overlooked because it wasn't about service. So I thought, now, why are these women in this pageant and they're telling them to have a platform and they really don't look at the platform? And I really thought that was backwards. So that's
It
why,
truly is.
yeah, it is. You know, you want women of substance. You want that service first. These women have a purpose, whether it is the PTA mom that runs for PTA, which is a hard job, or it's the corporate CEO that is in charge of giving, money, or has a foundation or works for a foundation, or any little thing matters. And so I felt the first year I had the USA, we picked influencers, and these were women that were actually doing things in their community. The next year, we had a pageant with you participating, and it was really important to me that each one of the ladies had something that they were doing, and we really talked to them a lot. And I have 5 of the most amazing women that are now still with me since we've made this shift. They've made the shift with me. And we have divided it into categories where we're putting the misses at the end, because that was, after talking to people, they kind of wanted that piece of it. So if you win the award, it's in your age category, because it's really hard for a 20-year-old to compete against a 47-year-old who probably has way more time and service under her belt. So,
most definitely.
yeah. So we've kind of divided that up to be fair. So I've talked a ton here, girlfriend. One thing I will tell you about pageantry is, and I'm going to get a little personal here. So when I was in high school, dance team was my outlet. Dance team, and I had a job, and that took me out of my home. Pageantry helped me grow and love myself again, because growing up in a home of abuse and being sexually abused, you lose who you are, you lose trust, you lose faith, you lose confidence, you lose hope. And the one thing about pageantry that it did bring for me was friendships, real ones. People loved me, wow. And they loved me without needing me to do anything for them. And it helped me grow in my confidence. And it gave me so much strength when I did my, it was Teen World that I did in high school. It was Miss Teen World Oregon. And when I did that pageant, it gave me the strength at 18 years old to tell my abuser, I'm out of here. And I left home. And it's something that I don't know how to explain it. It just saved me, I think.
It gave you that confidence.
Mm-hmm. And I believed in myself again, and I believed I was strong, and I had something to say, and I was going to do good things in the world, and it gave me hope. It gave me something to look to, right? Because pageantry makes you look inside yourself, because you have to do this, and you have to know who you are to be able to convey that to these judges. They ask you to pick a platform, and you've got to find out what are your interests. And it just really helped you self-explore who you are and who you want to be in the world. And giving is life changing. When I stopped focusing on going on in my home and in my life, and I started focusing on giving to other people and seeing how their lives were changed by my volunteerism or my gift or my hug or, my words of encouragement, that's life changing for you.
It truly is. And you are the greatest spokesperson I've ever actually had the honor of knowing in my lifetime.
You're so sweet.
You really are, because your story touches millions. And it's not just your story, it's but your charisma as well. Because it is that hug, it is that smile, it is that twinkle in your eye. Every single time that I come around someone that knows your name or knows you as a person, they're just like nothing but good things to say.
Oh,
And
that's so sweet.
it truly brings about a new expectation about reinventing the world, reinventing pageantry, reinventing women of purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very important that every day when I go to bed, I kind of, that's my meditation time with God. That's my conversation time. And it's, what sparkle did I leave today? And not every day do I leave sparkle. Believe me, I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner. That's why I have God. So I, I want to leave this legacy. So who did I touch today? Was it the dry cleaner? Did I remember his name when I walked into the dry cleaner? Of course I did, and I smiled and I said his name and he lights up. That's leaving a legacy. That's leaving an impression. And every day we should think about that. Okay, today I'm going to leave 2 impressions in the world. I'm going to leave my smile somewhere. I'm going to help someone do something. I'm going to help a lady with her cart at the grocery store. When I see she's struggling, instead of just noticing it, I'm going to do something. When you notice those things, that's God's little pull at you to do something, right? So start
Exactly.
being aware of those and leaving that legacy, because you never know who's listening.
You truly don't.
No, you don't. So when I changed to this service thing, I had several people reach out to me. I've been watching your Facebook for years. And I'm like, I don't even know you. I didn't know you were watching my Facebook. And that's cool to me. Funny story, you don't ever know. Okay. I'm at a dinner with my son and a couple girlfriends, and they have daughters, and the kids all graduated from high school at the same time. So we got them all together, and we're sitting there having dinner, and somebody comes up to me and says, "Are you Libby Crawford?" And I'm like, what did I do? That's the first thing
Am
you
I
think of.
in
What did
trouble?
I do? What did I say? I don't know this man. I said, yeah. He goes, "Are you this Libby Crawford?" And he points to his Instagram. I said, yes. And he says, "I follow you on Instagram." And he's from Pennsylvania or somewhere. And he just happened to be in Oregon at the same restaurant I was. And I was floored. My friends were floored. So it shows me how small the world is, and that your actions and what you choose to post online can either affect people in a positive way or affect people in a negative way. And that
Exactly.
we need to be responsible for who we are, because we don't know who's watching, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, everything that you see online nowadays is heavily monitored
Mm-hmm.
by a lot of different people, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't realize that.
Right.
So it's
Right.
best
Right.
to just be super nice all the time, because you never
And you
know
don't
who's
have to be
watching.
nice you have to be nice all the time. You have to watch your words, but you have
Yes,
to be real too. Don't
exactly.
just go quote God and scripture and stuff like that to just get likes. If it feels there and it's something you're being led to share, share it. But
Exactly.
be who you are. Everything you see about me online, if I post anything, that's me. And
Hmm.
those people that want to hate on me, because we all have haters, And those that want to hate on me, let them hate. But those that know me are completely, you know, I'm not going to say they love me, but those that know me know my heart, right? They know where I'm coming
Yes.
from. And we just need to pray for the hate, you know, pray
Exactly.
for the hate, because we want to just be that positive person for everyone as best as we can. And like I said, we're going to make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect, but that's okay. That's what makes us human, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
No.
And I do
So,
have to ask this
uh-oh.
because nobody is perfect.
No.
So, how was the requirements that came about to participate in USA World actually created? Because it's not focused on the requirements of you need to be such and such. You have to have
Right,
straight
right,
hair. You have
right.
to be 5'6".
Right. Well, that comes from experience. So when I competed in the pageant in 2011, there were 5 judges. And again, I was first runner up. I was very pleased. At the time, I was passing a law. My
Mhm.
daughter has special needs, and in the schools, they wanted to label her as mentally retarded. And so, her and I found a senator who would sponsor a bill for us, and we changed the language from mental retardation to intellectual disability. And anybody who knows my Katie would know, you know, you don't call any kid that. It's just kind of
Oh,
one of those
no,
old
not
words
at
they
all.
use, just like a whole slew of other words we just don't use anymore, right?
Exactly.
So that was my platform at the time of running. And I was first runner up. And 3 weeks later, I was at a pageant watching, and one of my judges came up to me and she goes, "Well, 2 judges picked you and 2 judges picked the other girl." And she goes, "I went with the other girl because the director told us that platforms didn't matter. And now I know that at the state level, platforms do matter."
Mhm.
And right then it showed me that I wanted women that truly served to be honored, and not just because they could fit in a swimsuit and look good. Okay. And once I worked for the national office, the last score of the pageant, all scores are wiped out. The last 3 are voted only on their beauty. So it didn't matter if you had a platform, didn't matter if you had a foundation, didn't matter what you were doing. And that's okay. I'm not begrudging them for that. That's
Mhm.
okay. That's their model. That's their platform. But I wanted to be different because I'm so much more than that. And I knew what it felt like to be dismissed because, yeah, you look great. I wanted you, but the director didn't want somebody with a platform. She wanted somebody that was younger, that was tall. Okay. And that's okay too. I didn't fit the mold, but I set out to find a pageant, or to be the pageant that didn't have a mold. I don't want a
And you
mold.
truly don't.
No, no,
You,
I don't want a mold. I want somebody to sell themselves. I want the ones that win to sell themselves. Okay. I don't want it to be based on what I want or what I think I want. Everybody else is, so our judges are all philanthropy minded. Every single, you'll know, every single judge we have has philanthropy at heart. And if I'm going to say 100% of your score is your philanthropy, okay, I want people to be able to sell themselves. And you can weed out the woman that just created a platform to be in the pageant compared to the
oh,
woman that really
most
works at
definitely.
home. Yeah.
Oh, most definitely. It's very clear as soon as
Hmm.
they walk through the door.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can tell. You can tell. Oh, yes. I've loved this pageant. I've wanted to win this pageant all my life. How could you? I've only been around for 3 years.
Mhm.
It's like, but the one that comes like you did with Days, or I have Heather that came with her NAMI, and I've got Tegan that came with her 22-0. I've got Captain Crystal with her balloons. I've got Cannon, who's so beautiful and mentoring young children. I mean, they're all different. but you all came with something real. And
Exactly.
that was super important to me.
And walking upon that stage and feeling that comfort of you're surrounded by women who will support you with everything that you do is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And
it's beautiful to watch too. It's beautiful to watch you all up there, and not even just up there, the days leading up to it, how quickly the bond happened, how quickly you
yes.
became friends. That's important to me too. It really is. And there's always personalities that are, conflict with one another, and that's okay too. But each one of you is a woman of purpose, and that's what you shared in common. And that was wonderful to see. And I hope that this awards presentation can be that. I'm really excited to invite the teens in your pageant to come to our awards ceremony to be presenters. So each year, your junior teen and teen, our hope is that, you send them to us or come bring them with you, and that they become presenters, but they can see women that are older than them as a mentor.
Yes.
Because in the teen division, the yes, service is important, but the scrutiny on service is a little more, what do you want to say, lenient, just because they're young and they're not going to have the 100 hours, unless, there's just no way. With school and activities and stuff, we can't have that same expectation, but we can spark the interest. And you're a great role model for that because you started that foundation when you were a teenager,
Yes,
and
I
it's,
did.
and it's an important message. And whether they work with you in days, okay, which is awesome, or they say, well, help me start my own. That's what we're hoping to foster. That's what we're hoping to foster. A generation of people that are outside of their phone in the real world. Now, believe me, I like reels and I enjoy Instagram recipes. If I have to say, that's my weakness, is following food on Instagram and saving all the recipes. But
Hey, that's fine.
my son jokes with me all the time. It's like he'll come home from college for dinner and I'll say, oh, I've got this new thing. He goes, is it an Instagram recipe? Mom, those are so bad. But it's a funny running joke around here. But, so there's some good to use it as a tool. But, our hope is to inspire others, in that manner.
Social media is an incredible tool to have in this day and age, but it can also be self-destructive.
Yeah.
As we've seen multiple times.
Or time consuming.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So within this new award ceremony and this pageant that my mother, Laura, and I are building, how would you implement Instagram or TikTok, for example, into some of the day-to-day just little molds?
So I'm not on TikTok. I just never got into it. Nope. I'm just not a TikTok person. I'm stuck in Facebook for the old people and Instagram for the semi-young people. But I think how you use it is to be intentional. So we're not going to say, oh, look at me, I just had an egg salad sandwich, and look at me, I'm putting on a sock today, and look at me, I think it needs to be used as intentional. What am I posting today, and what's the purpose of my post? Who am I reaching with my post today? Who do I want to reach with my post today? It's intentional. So I think as long as we're using it for intentionality, here's an event, or we volunteered here today, or somebody posted the other day, I learned something new. Don't give your clothes to Goodwill. Give your clothes to an old folks home, because those people can't go out and shop and they need new clothes and sometimes don't have money or family to provide them with new clothing. And I thought, got boxes of clothes. I'm going to go do that. I mean, it might not be their style jeans with holes in them, but you know, um, but that was something I learned. So I think if we're informing and we're being intentional and we're providing information or we're providing an uplifting post or something in that matter, I think it's great. And that's how I like to use it for the most part.
Before we get into any farther questions, I do want to make sure that we get this in now. Where can we find you, Miss Libby?
Well, you can find me on Facebook as Libby Crawford, but you can also, if you want to nominate somebody for our awards program, it's pageants@comcast.net. If you would like to find me on Instagram, my daughter came up with the name when Instagram first happened, so I used to tell my daughter, you can go outside with no makeup on, but you can't forget your lipstick. I always said lipstick is just like you have to wear lipstick. So lip gloss, lipstick, something on your lips. I said it just makes you look put together. So she created my Instagram account and it's lib_stick. So you can find me as Libstick on Instagram. And then we have USA World United and Mother Daughter USA on Instagram and Facebook as well. So you can see us there as well. You'll see Brie and all her little stuff and everything she's done.
Yes, you'll actually get a little bit more into my backstory.
Yes, yes. This famous actress. She is a triple threat. I swear. She can sing, she
Thank
can
you.
act. She is, I don't know if she can dance. I haven't seen that part, but she's a good person and a good soul. And that will take her very far. I'm so excited to watch you grow in life and see what you do in the world. You know, I'm super excited. I'm so excited that I have you as my USA World United Junior Teen and Teen Directors. That'll be really fun. Now, in their competition, they have a competition. Tennis wear, evening gown, personal style, and then the interview, of course.
Oh, yes. We have the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Super exciting. Maybe they'll see themselves on a billboard too.
Who knows?
Who
Who
knows?
knows?
Well, that's one thing I think we're in the process of doing that with our awards winners, and I'll announce it here, is that we are going to do billboards for them on Times Square. So we are going to go ahead and do that for them, for our Women of Purpose. The women that win the awards will have their photo put up there with their title, and I'm super excited for them. I really am.
That's incredible.
You know, I hope, I guess my dream with this is to have women from all 50 states be represented in each age category. Not just the select, it's going to start small, but that's my vision for the whole thing, is to really make it an industry-wide, there's other industry-wide award shows for best makeup, best this, best that. We're singular. This is about service. And I dream of directors nominating title holders nominating directors nominating volunteers, people that just love to watch pageants, volunteering themselves. You know, it's open to everyone.
And that's an incredible thing we don't have right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're paving the way for it.
Let's hope. You know, if it's meant to be, it's going to be blessed by God, and it's going to happen. Everything he's done in my life, or I've done in my life, has been directed through his guidance. So if it is meant to be, it is going to be blessed and it's going to work out. And so I never worry about that part of it at all, ever.
It's going to be absolutely perfect.
What's
and
up?
You said it's going to be happening August of this year or next?
Yep. So our first one is this August. It's the 23rd through the 25th. They start off Friday. They can do an optional city tour. I just set that up today, so they would see some of the best sites in Portland. And then that night we have an opening reception. And Saturday we have a finalist breakfast, so it's only open to the finalists. And we have a guest speaker. And the guest speaker is very philanthropy minded, somebody that's going to talk to you about her foundation and her philanthropy and what she's done, not only in the United States, but abroad. And we, then on Saturday night, it will be the gala event. So all the women will have their evening gowns on. And that's where we're going to honor all the finalists will be honored with a little snippet video and introduced. And then one of those will win the regalia for the division that they've chosen. Now, think of it like the Academy Awards, Best Actress. You know, you have 5 finalists and you see a snippet of each of their movies, but only one wins. That doesn't mean the other 4 weren't good that year, right?
Mm-hmm.
All.
Oh, no, not at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, everyone in the Oscars is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. And you know what? All my nominees so far are incredible. And everyone is so diverse. How do you pick? The only thing that it's going to come down to is verifying their community service. So that's what's going to matter, is the verification of their community service. It's not, if I get this award, I hope to do this. We need people that are already doing. And that's the difference. I found that a lot in pageantry, not a lot, but people, well, if I win the title, I really hope to go into schools. Well, do you know how hard it is to get into a school and speak in a school? It's not that easy. So have you done your research on that? And then their eyes are like this big because they don't know what to say. So, yeah. I think that's my favorite part about pageantry is interview.
Oh, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where you can really shine through.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell the judges all about yourself, all about what you do, and you can show them the true person that's not outside of a pretty gown.
Right, right. Well, I love to be the interviewer. I love to be a judge because I love to challenge them to think deeper and see the ones that have really thought this through and understand their why. Why are you here? What's your purpose? You know, what's your purpose? And that's what's been so incredible about these nominees is they all have a purpose. And that's why we're women of purpose, right? That's why it's our motto, because these women all have a purpose. They know their why. They know why they're doing what they do. And I love that.
And for our audience tonight, we are going to be going into our closing remarks. But thank you so much for coming on tonight, Miss Libby. I can't thank you enough. I love you. My family loves you. And I know the audience loves you. So I will ask you one last question for tonight. Is there any advice that you can give us regarding life or anything in particular that you would like to go over?
So it's kind of like I said before. What did you do today to leave a legacy? How did you touch somebody's heart today? And really, you don't know if tomorrow's going to be given to you. So you can go through your day and just be angry and stressed. And believe me, I've had those, but turn it around, turn your mind around and do something to somebody else to leave that legacy. Be that spark for that person. You never know what they need. And so if you leave that smile, that you remembered their name, you brought flowers to a friend who you know has had a bad day, you just don't know how life-changing that is for someone. And I think that's super important. And, you know, like I said, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So really focus on that. And the second thing would be, I know you only asked for one, but the second thing would be is where do you give your time to? I'm 60 years old. And now I'm starting to want to get that time back that I gave away so freely and didn't pay attention to. That's the one thing you'll never get back is time. So be intentional with your time. Be intentional with what you do with your time, because you'll never get it back. And you'll spend your older years trying to get it back.
Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
I love you so, so much.
I love you too. Don't
I
make me
can't wait to
cry.
see you in August.
I know. That'll be exciting.
I am so, so excited. And please keep me updated if there's anything I can do to help you. And I know that our amazing audience will most definitely be looking into you. So don't be freaked out if there's a bunch of people commenting.
Are people commenting? I mean, I don't see it.
We'll see it later.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I always wondered if anybody had a question or if anybody commented. I know my son was going to watch. I hope he's watching. I kind of forced him into it. Yes.
Well,